invite Kiran Khalap once more. We saw him on the panel. You heard about his work. But now here he will focus on Beyond I, Unveiling the Illusion. Please join me in welcoming Kiran Khalap.
Can we have all lights on, please? Right. So 3 confessions. After 2 very moving sessions, I don't know if you're ready for this. This is going to be an interactive session, so you need to talk. And please, when you speak, speak loudly so everybody can hear you. 3 confessions. One is, I've never done this before. I've done it on an individual level, never at a mass level. I don't know whether it will work. Second confession is, I'm not setting up myself as an example. I'm not an exemplar. I'm not saying you do this because I do this, but I do it quite often. Third is, if at all there is something I am very happy about myself, it is the fact that I don't try to change anything in anybody's life. The one thing I realized is that the most difficult thing to change is yourself. And once I realized that, I stopped trying to change anybody or anything. So with that, we are going to look at this exchange between all of us. There will be 3 steps. So the first step is for you to close your eyes and pay attention to all sounds, the cold air, anybody speaking, your own breath, whatever. Just pay attention, close your eyes for some time, and then please, when I ask you, you might open your eyes and speak, but please speak, right? So just close your eyes for a couple of minutes and listen to everything that you can. Close your eyes. Listen to everything that you can. Okay. Open your eyes. Tell me what you heard. Loudly.
Chatter from the back.
Some chatter in the background. Anything else?
Sound.
Sorry?
Like sounds, something.
Somebody is pulling something, etc., etc.
My own breath.
Sorry?
My own breath.
Your own breath. Fantastic. That is something that we don't pay attention to. So now, and please stop me if I say anything which is a concept. The whole session today is going to be an experience. If there is something which you haven't experienced, then stop me. So now I'm asking you, what happened to you just now? Would it be right for us to say that there was a consciousness or an awareness and the sound was outside? Is that a correct interpretation? Is there anybody who disagrees with this? No. So there is, you can call it consciousness, you can call it awareness, you can call it screen, whatever you want, and the sound was outside. The sound was an object. Is that correct? This was like a subject and the sound was an object, correct? Okay. So far so good. I hope this experiment works. Now, next step. Close your eyes and think of an apple. Close your eyes and think of an apple. Look at it carefully inside your mind, because you will be able to tell me the details afterwards. All right, open your eyes. Anybody wants to tell me? Describe the apple. Small? Very tiny? Green apple. Okay. Anybody else? Yes, Rochana?
Red apple.
Red apple with
Very shiny, almost waxy.
very shiny, almost wax-like. Yeah. Anybody else? Anybody saw an apple? Yeah.
Shades of red.
Shades of red. Okay, nice. Is that? Can you eat that apple?
Yeah, I had a thing where the apple was. I started chopping the apple. And the juice and the
Yeah, the
smells,
chop.
all of it.
Yeah, chopping the apple. But can you smell the apple?
Yes.
The apple that was in your mind, can you smell it?
Yeah, I can smell it.
You imagine smelling it, but you can't smell it right
Yeah,
now.
but I imagine the smell and the taste and the juice.
Correct. But you cannot eat it.
Yes.
Right. So there is a difference between the first object. There was an object called the sound, which was outside, and there was a subject or consciousness or awareness here. This was also an object. Would it be right to say that the apple was also an object of the consciousness or awareness? Is this statement correct? It is an object, right? It was still an object. So there is, whether for that object called I, it must be as clear an object as the apple. It must be as clear an object as that sound that you heard. Close your eyes and look for it. It can't be your body because your body has changed ever since you were tiny baby. So it can't be the body. So what is this object called I? Okay, open your eyes. Yeah, Rajesh. Can you repeat what he's saying? I don't know what I'm looking for. Has anybody found that object? Please raise your hand.
I felt like there was a character that I call I, and it's like replaying, say even today, all the things that I felt. So it's like a movie.
There is no object.
There's no object.
Yeah.
Right? It's like
Sorry, he's also.
Yeah. The I from the word kindness, that I was holding a bird that's flying, right?
No. Did you find an object called I, whom you refer to as I every single day? No. So what did you find? Yeah, Rochana?
an object, maybe a feeling.
A feeling. More.
Something that
But it's not an object that you can identify with. What did most of you see?
Thoughts.
Thoughts.
it's like looking for it but can't find
You can't find it. So it's strange that actually there is no I. So all you have is what he said, all you have is thoughts. Now, if you go to the next stage, you will get another. So already you have one shock, which is that there is no I. There isn't an object called I. And now if you look further, you will see that what all you see all the time is just thoughts, right? If you want to make it more dangerous, you look further and you will discover that all the thoughts are about the past. There is no thought which is about now. It is past, meaning it should be 1 second behind. And you can project it into the future, but it's the same thing. So I'm going to go to the airport after this session is something, I imagine the airport from my past. I imagine the car from my past. So it's all that is that is there. So having made this discovery, is anybody feeling uncomfortable that we act, we do everything on the basis of thoughts? There is no I. We are still doing all this work that we do in our lives. We keep saying I when there is no I. Is this a disturbing thing? Isn't it disturbing? There isn't anything, and we still do all of these things in our life. So, what do you feel about that? That there is, I am acting on nothing.
uncomfortable discovery.
Sorry?
It's an uncomfortable discovery.
It is an uncomfortable discovery, yeah. Which is why there are many of these things when people tell me I'm doing anger management. Anger management is like standing in a bucket and trying to pick yourself up. Because the anger is you and the manager is you. It's the same thing that you just saw when you closed your eyes. It is one single thing. You identify with one and call it anger. You look at something else and you call it sorrow. And you look at the third thing and you call it depression. But it's all part of that stream that you are permanently from morning till night. Unless anybody here does meditation? Right. In meditation, you often have that state of no thought. But otherwise, all of us, even in our deepest sleep, have thoughts flowing. And that thoughts flowing, called I, is basically the first division between you and the rest of the world. So when we say, I'm very tired today, even though I haven't spoken, that's because the whole day that is what you're doing, you're thinking. When we say that I don't like this person meaning that person has changed, he or she has become a totally different person, but everything that I know about that person remains inside me as a thought. But it's of no use. So there is a very famous philosopher and anthropologist called E.O. Wilson. And E.O. Wilson has this beautiful discovery that during evolution, the human brain created a shortcut. So the human brain has two brains. There is a primal brain called the lizard brain, which is in charge of saving your life, of food, getting food, having sex and things like that. It's roughly 20,000 times faster than the conscious brain, the cerebral part of the brain. Now the shortcut that was invented during evolution was that imagine that you are on a dark road and you hear footsteps, and even before you know about it, because your brain is so 20,000 times faster, it takes charge and blood rushes to your feet and legs and arms, because you have to either fight or you have to do flight, you have to run away or you have to fight that threat. You haven't even seen who's there, but this has happened inside that microsecond. Your hair has risen because you need to appear bigger, and your stomach has butterflies because the blood has rushed to the arms and legs. This is your state. This is fear taking over. Now the shortcut in evolution is the same thing happens when you are in the office and somebody comes and says, what an idiot you are. So the boss comes and says you are an idiot, and exactly the same reaction happens. Blood goes away from your face. There is no threat to your body. In the darkness, when somebody was running towards you, there was a threat to your life, and therefore that brain had taken over. In this case, somebody has come and insulted you, but you have exactly the same reaction, and you can't fight your boss. At least I have not fought my boss. There must be people who have fought their bosses. So all that blood that has gone to the arms, all the things that have happened is locked. It is like the analogy given by a gentleman called Ken Wilber is, it's like pressing the brake and the accelerator simultaneously. No movement happens, so you are not able to move, but you are burning rubber and you're burning petrol, all of that, right? This causes disease. You can ask Rochna, she is a specialist in this. This suppression of all that happens will cause disease, and if you act on it, it will further cause division, because you will fight your boss and that will be the end of your job. So there is only one thing in our life that does not have a reaction, which is what you have just done. The only thing that does not have a reaction is observation. And the more you observe yourself, the more you sit by yourself in one corner and look at this entire train of thought that is going past, you will have freedom from the past. I'll end here. Any questions? We have lots of time. So it was meant to be an interactive session. So any questions you have? Otherwise we can just sit silently. Yeah, Rocha. Loudly.
During meditation, focus on putting distance between observation and thoughts. What do you do when you're not meditating?
I can't. You'll have to be.
What happens when you're not meditating? During meditation, you're putting distance between yourself and thoughts. But in the regular course of life, how do you inculcate this?
Yes. So what happens? The question is: this is fine when you are by yourself, and there is no disturbance. There is no boss. There is no wife. At that time, you can reach this state of not thinking what happens in day-to-day life. I don't know what happens in day-to-day life, but the idea is that just as we have had the bad habit of thinking all our life, if you have the good habit of observing all your life, the power of that thinking will be reduced. So once meditation goes through and through your life, you are much better off than when you were thinking all your life. You can't do it, obviously you can't force it, because that forcing is suppression and will lead to disease. But if you can practice observation in situations where you are being provoked, you will have no suppression and no disease. Anybody felt happy about doing this? Yes? Oh, nice. Good. Something. Felt good? Okay. If there are no questions, then I'll carry on. I will catch my flight.
Just a question.
Yeah.
There is no word called I. So, if there is no such thing called I, is there any reason why stress is coming up to everyone?
Why it is?
Why stress is coming up to most of us if there is no such thing called I?
Then why are we stressing if there is no I?
It's a bad habit.
So,
You just learnt it. I think you become conscious of it when you are 6 or 7. That's when you start using that word I, and you have never questioned it. So there is a beautiful word for this. This is called the unquestioned life. You never asked this question. Why do I use the word I?
thank you.
So it's the same thing that do you watch cricket? When the third umpire has to make a decision, what does the third umpire do?
Go for DRS method.
In DRS method, what does he do? What does he ask the guy to do? He asks him to play back, and
He will observe whether the ball hits a stump.
no, he asks him to play back in what form?
Slow motion.
Correct. You are able to see it clearly when it is in slow motion. At 140 kilometers per hour, you can't see what Bumrah is doing. So this is what you did now is exactly the same. You sit in one place, don't have any distraction, and watch this film inside your head. As it slows down, you'll see, why did I get angry? Oh, because I was expecting this girl to do this and she didn't do it, therefore I got angry. It becomes very clear. So it's like the same thing. It is DRS for your mind.
Got it. Thank you.